If you're wondering which wedding vendor is the most important, I would personally say it's your wedding photographer. Of course, all of the vendors are very important and play a very significant role, but the images are the one thing that you're going to have left from your wedding 10, 20, 30, however many years from now, and you want to make sure those are captured properly, especially those sweet, candid moments where you're looking at each other or someone's laughing from a speech or crying during your vows, and you want all those moments to be captured. And I would say it's definitely the one wedding vendor you want to take your time to get to know before you book them. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jane Yu. I'm a wedding and event planner based in Los Angeles, the co-owner of UNS Events, and I'm just here to make the world a happier place, one event at a time. So in today's video, I am going to go over 6 tips when booking a wedding photographer. These are things that you should think about or look out for before you book someone and as you're getting to know them during your discovery calls. Number 1, do your homework. Take the time to peruse Instagram, Pinterest, WeddingWire, The Knot, Zola, wherever you're looking for vendors. Do your homework, talk to each other about what style you like, why you're drawn to this one photographer. Maybe you really like black and white stills. Maybe you like the film look. You want someone who knows how to capture with film. Maybe you really like the bright style of editing. Maybe you like a more moody vibe. I think it's important to lay out certain types of styles that you want, but it's on you to do that homework to make sure you're looking for the right types of photographers that you're drawn to. People also really love editorial shots these days, which are really not really like staged portraits or candids, but think of something that you would find in a magazine shoot. People really love just kind of out of the box ideas these days. So that's something that a lot of photographers are specializing in or definitely say they offer. So I would just do your due diligence and make sure you know and understand yourself about what you're looking for. Tip number 2, definitely do a discovery call. And during that discovery call, you want to feel out their personality. The photographer is the one vendor outside of your planner that you'll be spending most of your time with, meaning they will be there from like the tail end of your getting ready to the basically the end of the wedding or just right before the end of the wedding. So you will be with them the whole time. You'll be with them when you're taking your couple portraits. They'll be there when you're doing your first look. They, I feel, really add or can take away from the vibe and feeling of the day. I've worked with some just okay photographers, and it definitely made the day feel a little less not as great because I've worked with some really great photographers who really help elevate the day. And it's not like they have to be so energetic or enthusiastic or anything like that. It's just about how it feels in terms of you feel like they're there to like support you and make you look good. For instance, I've had a photographer be really resistant with my client about where they wanted to do the first look, and there was really no basis for their resistance. And at the end of the day, we ended up going to the area that my client wanted to do their first look. It didn't have to be so difficult. And so by that point, my client was already feeling a little bit bad about the fact that the photographer was resistant in the first place. And that's just not like something that you want to remember or feel on your wedding day. But that's why you also really want to see if you connect with them, with their personality and their approach. Number 3, are you talking to a studio where they hire freelancers and book freelancers, or are you talking to the person who's actually doing the shooting? I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those approaches. Just know that when you're speaking to a studio to book their photographers, you may not meet the actual photographer until the wedding day or maybe at the engagement shoot if that's part of your package. I don't want you to talk to a studio thinking that you're going to be getting that person for your photographer, but usually studio managers will be upfront about that and about their process and everything. It's just a different type of approach with photographers. Just know that if you hire a studio, you may not be able to talk to your photographer until much closer to your day. Tip number 4, ask for full galleries. You can do this before or after your discovery call. Sometimes photographers or studios will only post pictures on their website and social media that are obviously the best pictures, but a lot of times they'll deliver anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 plus images every day. And you want to make sure that whatever galleries they're sending to their clients are comprehensive with enough shots from your wedding, but also you don't want a photographer that's going to include shots that aren't great. For instance, I don't love it when photographers send galleries and it has images of the client or couple or family members with their eyes blinking, or they're like adjusting their dress, or they're looking away, or like it's just not a quality photo, and it just adds to your work having to sift through all of these bad images to pick out the ones you like for printing or submitting to publications or whatnot. So you want to ask for the full galleries that they deliver to their clients to make sure they're taking the care to edit the photos out properly, but also that they're capturing all of the moments that you want them to capture. Tip number 5, make sure you understand what their package is offering, or what's included with that package. For instance, does it include an engagement session if you want one? Do you really need that fine art album? How many images can you expect from them? How many hours does it include on the day of? Do they include a second shooter, or is that additional? So these are all things that you want to understand from what they offer and see if it matches what you need. Most photographers are pretty flexible, especially about adding time or taking away a little bit of time. But you want to start with the minimum that you know that you need, because it's always easier to add something than to remove something. So if you really like the photographer but not sure if you want 8 hours or 9 hours, you can ask them, hey, can we start with 8 hours, potentially add hours when we're doing the timeline? I'm not sure that I'll need a second shooter. Can we add that on a little bit later? And they'll just tell you what their process is. Tip number 6, do an engagement shoot. Even if you don't really want one, or even if you don't really have the need for the photos, I would say just do some type of portrait session with your photographer, because for one, a lot of them include it in their packages, so why not take advantage of it? But also, it's really great to get to know your photographer before the day, see what their style is and how they're directing you. You can give them feedback, you can get a feel for each other and just get comfortable. And when you show up for your wedding day, you'll already have gotten over sort of that awkward, like trying to figure each other out. I would push you to definitely try and schedule or fit in a portrait session with your photographer before the big day. Obviously, wedding photographers work a lot of weekends, so you'll probably have to carve out some time during the week for this. But if you schedule it far in advance, you should be able to find a date that works for both of you. If you haven't watched it already, I would also watch the video that I made about setting yourself up for success just mentally while you start the search, long and hard search for wedding vendors. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. I am going to be making a video about unconventional wedding planning next week, because that's something that really excites me and I'm really excited to talk to you more about it. To get to know and to when booking a 6 tips, wedding wire, studio managers, yourself up for this one when you're ready to book a wedding photographer.